Oh, amazing. Welcome, beauties and beasties, to our one shot for what happened to the Malachite Waste, a modern fantasy slice of life cozy D&D adjacent podcast that explores a little bit about what the NPCs get up to when the adventurers are out of town. I'm so excited to be here today. This is such a great cause. Thank you for inviting us. If you check out the link in chat, you can see where to donate to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund as well as Operation Olive Branch. And we absolutely encourage everyone who is able to make a donation and support, um, you know, something very, very necessary and important right now. My name is Z. I will be your host and guide for today, our little adventure. I use they, them pronouns, and I am a writer slash professional DM. Ace, you want to take it away with our first character intro? Self intro?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Ace Pendragon, also known as Luke Sanders, outside of cyberspace, out in meat space. I'm going to be if you've listened to what happened in the Malachite Wastes for our first episode, I'm going to be reprising a role of a familiar little red panda guy named Tio. Tio Manai Gananim. He is a little red pandalin taxi driver within the city of Terakea.
What pronouns do you use, Ace?
I personally use he, they. Tio uses he, him.
Amazing. Call on someone else to introduce themselves. That's how we're going to do this.
Okay, I'm going to toss it over to Fish.
Oh, hello, that's me. I'm Fish, or Annalise, and I will be playing Birdie Katana. She is a character I've had from a couple games. She is a girly pop barbarian type. In the world of the Waste, she likes to work out. She's a little gym rat and definitely doesn't have temper problems.
Definitely not.
Moving right along, Ellie.
You forgot your pronouns.
I go by she, her, as does my character.
There we go. Hello everyone, I am Ellie. My character and the character that you'll probably be seeing in a future episode of The Malachite Waste is Spondylus Cleati. She goes by she, her, and I go by she, they. Spondylus, or Lou, is a saltwater nymph, like an ocean nymph. She is she hopes to be a chef one day. You'll learn a little bit more during the episode, but she loves cooking, she is high-spirited like a summer day, and she is probably gonna get into some hijinks today, so I'm excited for that. And I'll toss it over to Adrian.
Yeah.
Correct.
My name is Adrian. Online, you can find me on pretty much every platform as it's probably Ghost, including Twitch, but at the end there's an underscore because my username was taken for some reason. My pronouns are he, they. And I will be playing Juniper today, who is a mysterious Fey Lord that we don't know all that much about. So hopefully we'll get to learn a lot more about their character. I feel like they use he, they pronouns, but also can sometimes use she, her, depending on the form that they take. But I'd say as a baseline, he, they as well.
Amazing. Guys, I'm so excited to jump right in to our little adventure. So let's start with a little mood setting. This is what I do on the
Leap
episode.
us away into your mind palace.
Let's go. A sprawling desert of green and blue stones as far as the eye can see, swirled beneath you like a patchwork of massive fingerprints on a vast ocean frozen in time and glass. It is a perilous journey merely to arrive at the edge of the wasteland, let alone to pass through its cold and unyielding valleys and crags. Yet in the very center of this expanse lies the jewel of the wastes itself, a floating archipelago, hanging by some miracle far in the sky above a treacherous and seemingly endless maw below. A refugee haven, and a slice of paradise itself for those who survive the trek. You, lucky, privileged, haunted you, are among them. Welcome to the Malachite Waste. I would love everyone to roll me a very quick d20. Get this party started.
That's at 12.
12.
Coming in with a natty 8.
How about a
Amazing.
5?
5.
How about a hot 3?
A
Ooh.
hot 3
You're
is
doing
my
great.
favorite.
Just like me. I
Juniper.
know, right?
Yes.
Something is different today. How often do you think Juniper actually sleeps, if they ever sleep?
Oh god, not often. I feel like they want to a lot, but just everything that they have to worry about, everything going on, the nightmares of losing their home, I feel like all of that really stops them from sleeping, and so they spend a lot of their nights. I think they have a couple of like potted plants that they have saved, and they spend time taking care of those and using their magic to sustain them. And it's kind of like a meditation for them, trying to reconnect with what little nature they can find in the wastelands.
You've been here a very long time. You've been in the wastes since not long after the Hessian first found this place, and it seemed a place that you and the Fae that you've looked after could find some respite from the war and the terror and the violence that you've experienced in the Fae Wild as you knew it. Days seem to pass by one into the next in a place like this. And it honestly hasn't been until fairly recently that you've even really thought of days as days, until a very irksome employee that you've had has started bringing that to more to your attention. Also, Laurel is always coming out from Fayhaven and telling you about like a 5-day work week and what's appropriate to ask of people who are working for you, and like things that back in your day weren't ever an issue or ever anything of importance. Something's on your mind today. What is the thought that's keeping Juniper up at the early hours in the morning tonight?
I think it's Tio. I think it's the trip that he's taking back home. And I think they're worried for him. I think that they feel they need to be there to protect him. Because even though he works for them, they also take care of him. Or at least they try to. And so the fact that he's leaving after so long terrifies them, because not only is it this lack of ability to keep him safe, it's also fear out of lack of control.
Do you feel as though, of the mortals you've made pacts with in the past, do you feel like you've had that same worry for most of them?
I wouldn't say most. I would say some. I think most of them just tend to follow along with what they say a lot easier. They listen better. And so having someone like Tio who has a lot more free will and free spiritedness is terrifying to Juniper.
You think of Tio, this little red panda, Lynn, who years ago you first took the form of a small child, hailing down the cab, and saw a kindness and a sense of protection from this young man that you had kind of not learned to expect very much from mortals. And that made sense to you. That's a perfect reason why they should work for you and serve the purpose of protecting the people in this city that you care most about. What is Juniper doing with this kind of fear and anxiety?
I think that they have simultaneously like kind of trashed and then cleaned up their room. I think that they're trying to exercise a sense of control, and the best way they can do that is through their space. They're also practicing their different forms that they like to take often, and like looking at themselves in the mirror and then getting frustrated because like the hair isn't exactly what they wanted and that kind of thing. And I feel like the more stressed they are, the harder it is for them to more accurately change into different shapes.
What
And
form
so
have they settled on in this moment?
I think right now they are what they wish they could have stayed as in the Fey realm. So they're very tall, they have long flowing hair. They've kind of taken some branches from the plants that they have and like made a little wreath for themselves, trying to just feel regal and strong and show themselves that they have that strength in them, but something about it just doesn't feel right.
It's been a couple days since the conversation that you had. You think it's been a couple days, probably. Like, this is what days feel like? Question mark. Been a
What's a
few days.
day?
Yeah, what's a
What's a
day?
day?
Been a few days since your conversation with Tio and your promise to allow him to return home, which, for those who know you and know anything about Faye, is quite a weighty thing that you have given. When you, as the kind of light in, you're used to this at this point. The best way to keep track of the days for you is when the sun comes up, and in the Malachite Waste, that's only once every 3 days. As the kind of light of Solani Alpha, this secondary kind of gem-like star in the sky that hovers above the city, starts to wane a little, and the sun starts to peek through whatever windows Juniper has in their place of residence. What kind of place has Juniper created for themselves to live in this city?
That's a really good question. I think that they have definitely a nicer house. I think that they have tried to fill it with as much nature or imitation of nature as they can. I think it's very pristine and very clean for the most part, except for the rooms that people don't really see. I think that they have some rooms that are really, really messy. And sometimes they keep it that way just because it's something that they can control. I feel like a lot of things for Juniper are about control.
Yeah.
And so there's spaces that are seen by people like Tio that work for them. They show this professional, regal grandeur that they want to give off. And then you look like in their private office that no one ever comes in, and there's paper everywhere. Like it's a mess. And they'll claim it's an organized mess, but it's really just a mess.
Juniper's done their best to create this space that resembles more of the organic nature that they came from, and that's hard in the wastes when a whole world is built from stone and makes things very difficult to grow. You have had to settle for what you can, the small bits that your magic can still create and sustain for long periods of time. The plants that Laurel and their group have started trying to grow in druid crafting sessions in Feyhaven, pieces of branches and things that resemble the closest thing to leaves and flowers that you've been able to find, a sort of mishmash, something satisfying but never quite there, like always drinking from a glass with a hole in it, never getting a full swallow of water.
I think I think they have a courtyard as like an entryway to their house, and in the middle of that courtyard is a tree that is carved from stone and has little pieces of malachite hanging off the branches to look like green leaves.
I love that. That's a beautiful detail. That's a art team. Let's get on that art
Yeah.
team detail. That's a White Tree of Gondor situation right there.
Exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking.
That's gorgeous. Back in the Feywild, before they came here, they don't have domains the way that gods do, but they have preferences. When Juniper was at their full power, when they were truly the art Fey that they are only some sliver of now, what was their preferred, what do you think was their favorite places to play, the realms and the people and the who attracted their attention the most, and what did they revel in the most?
I think winter was one of their favorite seasons. I think that the death and rebirth of nature is something that they always found fascinating. So in terms of nature, they always loved going to snowy places and things like that. But in terms of people, I think they always found solace around kids because kids were never quick to judge, but also they looked at the world through eyes that weren't jaded and that weren't hurt by everything and haven't been around for as long as they have. So being around people who can see things in different perspectives than they ever could, I think is something really fascinating to them and something that they wanted to spend a lot of time around because they liked getting fresh perspectives.
It was their favorite thing about mortals, and when there were times when babes were left in the woods, changelings were exchanged on behalf of people, Juniper delighted in a sense of having children who looked at them with wide eyes and wonder. And as these children got older, mortals are so fickle. First of all, they're very, very breakable. Very things. Winter was always a place of delight for you, but to find that a child would freeze to death was a shock the first times that was something that you experienced.
I didn't know they could do that.
It's been said it's a painless and gentle death, but so fragile nonetheless. As they got older, that's when the danger starts to come, when people start to not think with open minds, when people start to create opinions that have weight behind them, and people as a whole, mortals as a whole, well, their opinions are incredibly fickle, incredibly volatile, and incredibly dangerous. All these things swirl through your mind on this anxiety of not understanding why Tio would ever need to leave the haven that you have created for them. You've given him everything that he could possibly need. He has a home, he has shelter, he has a way to provide for himself. So what more would you need beyond that? And you remember, who would Juniper remember as the closest thing they may have had to family?
I think there was another archfey that they considered something like a sister, like an older sister, that whenever they found themselves dealing with a kid who had frozen to death or something like that, or had found some mortal that they wanted to take care of, but again, they have grown up and they have opinions and they don't like what Juniper had to offer. I think they would always go to her for comfort, and I think she was a lot more understanding of mortals and a little less controlling, and so she tried to help balance that side of Juniper because she also cared for him.
The sister of spring, the sister of the brightness of the rebirth to the contrast of your rebirth. Both two sides of the same coin, but sometimes it seems like mortals tended to flourish a little better under her watchful eye, especially if they were little and they needed things like food and they needed things like not freezing to death. Just
That's
like these kind of
crazy. Just get good, man.
just get good at things. You remember the talks that you shared and the tears shed with them. That was a good memory, and it's also a painful memory not having that anymore. You feel in this moment a sort. It's only been a couple years. That's really no time at all. But if you were a Humie, if your life was short and fragile, and you were told that you couldn't get to see your sister again for quite some time, okay, a little bit. A little understanding of that. What is the message you sent to Tio this morning on your crystal?
I think they I think they give him like a list of things not to forget. Like, don't forget your keys, don't forget your hat, don't forget all of these things. And I think they're just they sound a lot like a worried mother, I think, who's just like helicopter parenting. And I think it's just because they're terrified for him. They don't know what's gonna happen. And then at the end they go, I know 3 days isn't a lot, but it's all I can afford. I can't lose you.
Love that. As Juniper sort of stews in this for a moment, we're gonna slide over to another part of town. Birdie, where do you think in this city, this really bustling type of city, where Birdie would most likely find themselves in the scope of it?
She loves to be where things are happening. She has her own little place, of course, but she is a social butterfly. She'll, you know, keep up with all the latest little pop-up events or this one club, this one bar, this one whatever. And she'll make friends if she needs to when she gets there. She can't get anyone to go with her, and that definitely happens.
Birdie's a halfling, right?
No, she's an elf.
An elf.
She's in D&D terms, she's a wood elf.
Amazing.
She didn't she's a scrappy little street kid that clawed her way up to where she is now. And it shows.
I love that. Based on kind of where I'm thinking about things, most elves find themselves closer to the top of Terrakea, this tiered city, but Birdie's not really like most elves. Birdie doesn't really care about going up and singing songs to nature. Birdie doesn't really care about growing things in the garden. Birdie wants to be where the action is and where stuff is going on.
She's not like other girls.
She's not like other girls. She's not like other elves. And I imagine that Birdie's found herself an apartment in the heart of the Undercity, where nightlife is almost always. It's hard for the rays of Solani Alpha and even the sun sometimes to permeate the Undercity. It's dark and beautiful. The the houses and the lines of alleyways are lined with fluorescent green and blue fungi that light the way, lights strung between alleys. But a lot of people down here have dark vision, so it's sort of underlit on purpose. Birdie, your alarm goes off to tell you that it is the morning time where the sun might not. What's Birdie been up to?
The night before, she was out, of course. She found a place that had good music, so she's a little sore from dancing. She thought that she, met some cool people, but like they just dipped so early into the night. So that's a little disappointing, but honestly, it's not a her problem. It's a them problem. She probably won't even see them again. It's fine. It's fine. So she has that sort of, kind of residual soreness from just getting back late and passing out. Groggy.
Knowing, I was trying to think about Birdie and Birdie in the past, knowing kind of what they did. Do you imagine it's similar to what?
Yeah. Yeah, she's not above, taking money under the table if that's what it takes to get by. She's
You get it. Oh, but so continue. I'm cutting you off.
she's worked in a bunch of different places, everywhere from the local coffee shop chain to where she might be working now.
Nova Cash.
Yeah.
Nova Cash is the local chain. Yeah. You get a message on your phone, on your crystal, kind of bling. You might not have been waking up at this hour, but you had an appointment this morning. You've done some deals with Lucky before. He seems like a mostly straight shooter. If you don't ask too many questions and you don't expect too many answers, usually you get paid on time, and you've never encountered anything too crazy. Lucky says, meeting postponed. Have some business to take care of. Need you in mid-city in 30.
She kind of probably blinks, looks, reads it, thinks, oh, okay, cool. And then it sinks in and she just goes, oh my God, in 30, she's, oh my. And she gets up, she's swearing under her breath. She responds, OMG, awesome, be right there. And just tosses it on their bed and is just she's pissed. But she takes the time, she has to be there in 30 minutes. Well, if it takes her 30 minutes to get ready, then 30 minutes starts from when she walks out the door. That's
it's perfect.
That's just how it's going to be.
Birdie, what can you grab a little what your character looks like for us?
She's a pretty average height, with 5 foot something. She does have bleach blonde hair that she will put up into, she either does a really high pony, she does the little space buns. Today she's feeling a little spiteful maybe after a disappointing night and waking up to that message. So she takes her time. There's at least a little bit of sparkle on every single item in her wardrobe. Either that or she'll load up on her jewelry. So she does, little shimmery makeup. she will put on, a cute little dress today. She wears heels, even though it probably isn't a good idea, but she likes how it looks, so pain is beauty. And everyone else is just jealous.
Obviously. Obviously, everybody else is just jealous.
Oh, yeah.
You get up, you get ready to go. You're not necessarily like your 30 minutes can start on your time, right? You're just whatever. As you walk out the door, you hear this little jingle that like do 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 do. It's the morning time. But you know Baird is already out with his sausage cart in the morning.
Ugh, that's what she needed. Beeline right there.
You
Barely
know
even
Baird.
says hi. She's just like, hey, usual?
Yeah, so are you wanting your morning usual or afternoon usual? Because it's kind of you're giving off a vibe today. Barrett is this like large red hobgoblin with his hot dog cart, and you know from now experience, whatever kind of sausage you want, Barrett has it.
She kind of looks up at him, gives him like dead stares, like, whatever's spicy, I need right now.
The hangover special then. Got it, got it, got it.
I'm not hungover. Do I look hungover?
You don't look hungover, but sweetie, you need a hangover special this morning, even if you're not hungover. That's the look that I'm seeing in your expression.
Okay, fine. How
All
much?
right. You know, let's do 5 copper. You know, I know the drill. You'll be back again tomorrow. He's like getting your spicy sausage together, loading it up, mustard, onions, hot pepper, all the good stuff. Wraps it up in this kind of little foil, twists on the end, hands it over. The whole thing probably takes less than a minute. Baird's got you.
She's like, all like 10 seconds in, she's kind of like looking around. She's shifting a little, kind of, and she gets in. She's like, "You're the best. Thanks. For real though." And hands over the money and just bolts.
Bolts. Where are they headed? Does Birdie have any plan to get to the mid city under this time crunch?
I mean, she will, while she's like power walking and just stuffing her face, she's like checking the time. If there's, she wants to take public transit because she knows the route. She can like get it down to like within 30 seconds. She could time her journey.
Yeah.
That's what she's aiming for.
Yeah, 100%. And the public transit in the I almost said the Metropolis of Mayhem. Holy crap, what a throwback. The public transit in Caracay is great, and part of the reason is because there's a very limited amount of cars that exist in the city. All of the cars are cabs, medallioned taxis. Otherwise, you can essentially drive around the city limits, park, find a bus port or a train station, and take it in. So you're able to hop on a train, takes you easy, you're in mid-city, you got your hot dog, you're feeling pretty good about it. What is Birdie's usual like commute vibe? How does one transport themselves in this city?
She will, just put on that face of "don't you even think about talking to me," and will, stare out the window and if anyone gets too close, it's the like disgusted death glare of like, "You're in my space." And if the other person doesn't move, then she very, will kind of huff and move her over, making it everyone else's problem.
I want to know how close. Birdie, I want to, first of all, roll a luck check. Let's just roll a luck check and see how good we are on time here.
That's a 13.
Okay. I think you essentially can make it. You're either going to be 2 minutes early or 5 minutes late, depending on where the stops are and everything like that. For Birdie, I will give you the option of, do you want to make that later? How spiteful are we feeling this morning? How likely are we to show up with an iced coffee?
She seriously considers it, but ultimately she wants to keep the relationship where it's at. She needs the money. She will. It pains her. She will skip the coffee and make sure to get there more on time.
You come up from the kind of subway platform of the mid-city, and you weren't really given a specific direction, but knowing Lucky, that's pretty classic. And actually, at the mid-city subway stop is Eddie. And you know Eddie, you've seen him before. He's one of the waiters at the Port and Plug, which is one of the Undercity's most prestigious slash rowdy slash icon slash dive bar. Eddie's a little blue kobold, very, very enthusiastic, comes up to you and is like, Birdie, hey, what's going on? Are you having a good morning? It's a good morning for me. I'm having a good time, and you're here to see Lucky sent you up here, right?
Yeah, like, oh my god, I got a message. It wanted me to be here in 30 minutes. Can you believe that? Anyway, yes. Where are we going? Also, hi, how you doing? How was your night last night?
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised you're here at all. You were going pretty hard.
Oh, that was nothing. Are you kidding me? Oh, the people I was with were just the worst. I thought
Yeah,
I thought we were vibing so well, but then they just ditched. And it was like 1 a.m. or something. Who goes home that early?
that's pretty lame. That's pretty
Thank
lame.
you. I'll do it next
Yeah.
time.
Lucky said something about wanting you to come here so we could go to the lockbox. Then we go to the lockbox, then we get a package, and then I give you the package, and then I go back to Lucky and tell you that you have the package, and then the package is gonna go.
Babes, look, bring it back. Are we on time or do we need to like go right now?
We should go like 2
Let's
minutes
walk
ago.
and talk. Let's walk and talk. All right, tell me what's going on.
So you and Eddie start walking through the Mid-City. Mid-City is a very classic, where you're essentially in the business financial district of Terraceia. Glass and steel and some ostentatious chrome. You see buildings made of bronze. It's an interesting architecture. The city itself of Terraceia is a mishmash of so many different cultures and so many different times. And, apart from the fact that unless you're going to insult a lot of your clientele by building things out of iron, otherwise people have really taken a shine to making things to set their buildings apart as much as possible. You see old style brick brownstones up against twisted glass architecture where people take meetings in WeWorks, fantasy WeWorks, and you pass by all these different establishments till you make it to finally the sort of bank that it seems like Lucky wants you to go to. It's a imposing structure with these kind of beautiful big gates to it. They know Eddie by now. He runs plenty of transactions here from the Port and Pug, bringing up the money every once in a while. Lets you guys in. And Eddie says, "Yeah, I got the key from Mr. Born Early and Lucky's lockbox." And they're like, "Can we see some ID?" And Eddie's like, yeah, I mean it's Mr. Born Early and Lucky. I've pretty. That's.
She like your ID.
Oh, sorry. Pulls out his little badge. All right,
Oh,
looks
do
like.
you need to see mine too? I'm just here along.
Are you also going into the vault?
No, I'm not.
Okay, then you can stand here then and wait. Do you trust Lucky? Do you trust Eddie to go in and actually handle this by himself?
There's one door in and one door out, right?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. She'll like shift so she can watch him as long as she can, but otherwise she's trying to like be friendly, smiley, not flirty, at least not ostentatiously, but just charming. And she's kind of watching him and will talk to the people working there. Just
There anything that Birdie's trying to get, or just kind of make conversation in this like any information they're trying to gather, or just kind of trying to like make things go smoother? Anything.
It's the like she'd be like, oh, sorry about that. Anyway, how's your morning been? Or afternoon at this point, I guess.
Make a charisma check for me, please.
Ooh.
Just a straight charisma.
Yep. Oh my gosh, not good at all. 11.
These guys are just there to get a job done. It's not quite as bad as trying to talk to somebody outside of Buckingham Palace. But it's you're getting kind of one word answers. They're mostly looking at like the sign-in sheets are taken care of. Eddie comes back in a couple of seconds with like a bag, probably like a money style bag with a locked zipper on it. And he's like, "Okay, I think we're probably ready to go. Is there anything you need to do here? Is there anything? Did I do it? I do. I got. I went to the station. I got Birdie."
I think that's perfect, right? It was just that one bag. All right, let's go. You have a wonderful day. And she'll like kind of try to get him going and is just like, what is going on, man? Are you okay?
I'm trying to remember. This is really important. I'm trying to remember all the stuff that's important.
Okay, well, okay. Okay, my bad. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
you know Lucky. You know how Lucky gets. You know how Lucky does not like getting pet because he's not a cat. He's like, I'm not a cat. I'm a person.
Yeah,
I
no.
came in today, and he was getting scritches behind the ear, which is not something that he usually likes to do. So I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, the what else do we need? And Birdie's like, this actually might be serious.
I know. I'm trying to make sure everything. I have my list. 1 second. Close out, wrote down the list. The list literally says, go to the station, get Birdie, bring Birdie to the bank, give Birdie the bag, tell Birdie, and then there's like an address. And then it's like, come back and say everything was good. Do not give Lucky scritches. He does not want them from you.
She's like reading the list, and as he's going point by point, she's like okay, and writes down the address and is like, okay, do you want to come with me to this address?
He's looking at the list to see if he's supposed to come with you. I think I'm supposed to not do that.
Perfect. You're going back then, right?
I'm gonna go to Lucky and I'm gonna say that and it says like underneath, like as like a sub note, like tell Lucky everything was good. I'm going to tell Lucky everything was good.
Perfect. Here, she takes out a ridiculous sparkly sort of pen from her bag, and she'll like do little check marks next to all of the points up until like, tell Birdie to go to this place. And she's like, all right, now you've done all these things. It was beautiful. Thank you so much. You're so helpful. Now you can go back. I'm gonna go to this address now. Does that sound good?
Okay, that sounds. Yep, that sounds like it's the next thing on the list. Okay, perfect. Go. You do that.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Let's cut over to the island of Heshael. Outside of the main island of Terrakea, you're picturing a New York-sized city on a floating rock above a giant maw in the middle of a desert made of malachite. It's a hustle and bustle. It's huge. But there is a calmer place within the Malachite archipelago, the island of Heshael, a mountainous, beautiful lakeside village of the Islet Key that's there, the home of many Hessian people. This beautiful forest that's mostly made of malachite, but resembles a real forest in so many ways. The waterfalls that come off the side. And it's home to not just the Hessian people who this is a they were the ones who found the Malachite archipelago. They founded this space. They were the ones who declared it a place where everyone could come and everyone should come and live. And being sorcerers themselves, founders of the university, the Orain Academy, the most prestigious sorcery academy on the continent and possibly the world. Some people think it's redundant to have a sorcery academy. If it's innate and inherent magic, why would you need to study that? But the Hesha are in the belief that if you are receiving these innate gifts, why not have someone who helps you guide them and learn how to use them in a setting where you are taught to excel at the way that you relate to your bloodline, your deity, your heritage best. You're not one of these students at the Orain Academy, Luce, but Spondylus does live with one of them, and one of them who was out very, very late at the Port and Plug last night. Not as late as she wanted to be. She probably headed out around 1. But Devin is once again asleep on the couch, and once again, you've been woken up to the sound of Devin screaming because Cairo has sat on her.
Gosh. Are you okay?
I told you, Devin, you cannot sleep on the couch. You are so small. This time you were under a pillow. You were under a pillow. I did not see you. And Devin's like, Cairo, wah! If I'm sleeping on the couch so much that you keep sitting on me, maybe you should stop sitting on the couch first thing in the morning. And Cairo's like, that is the most unreasonable thing I have ever heard. That is insane that I cannot sit on the couch in the morning because you may or may not be passed out under a cushion of the couch.
I'm going to slowly get out of bed.
Luce, would you like
Not
to
even bother
introduce
to change. Yeah.
your character for us?
This happens every morning. Spondylus is said before an ocean nymph. She has long flowing hair made out of water. It moves kind of like waves the ocean. Right now it's loose and just letting it do whatever it will do. She has no control over it unless she is focusing on it. And her skin is almost made out of sand. She looks like a seashore. Her eyes match her hair, just clear, beautiful blue. And she is a pretty feminine person. She likes dresses and bright colors. She hates wearing shoes. So she does have a nice collection of sandals because most people don't like when she doesn't wear shoes. And she has been in the city for a little over 6 months now, trying to make a new life in this new city, completely different from the Feywild and her little town by the ocean. So it's different. It's noisy in different ways, but she's getting the hang of it, thanks to her friends who cannot stop arguing.
Cairo does not knock. Cairo opens the door.
Yeah.
Immediately realizes maybe he shouldn't have opened the door. Goes like this and is like, "Are you decent?"
Yes, I am. I'm always decent.
You see this tall Air Genasi man with long white dreads that go down to his mid-back. He's wearing kind of loose, like almost like pajamas still. He was probably just about to go out for his morning prayers and then break his fast. That's the way of the things this day and this life that you now have together. He goes, "We need a house meeting. House meeting. We're having a house meeting right now."
Right, I'll be right there. She's gonna grab like little, like a nice, just long, what is it like? Not an overcoat.
Like a robe?
Yeah, a robe. I forgot the word. Just tie it over her nightdress and just go over there. Okay. What do you need? What is the problem?
Devin, your cute little pixie roommate, once again, out way too late, sitting kind of perched on top of an armchair with her arms crossed over her chest. Cairo is now sitting on the other side in a different chair, and you feel somehow like a couples therapist. We need to have some new rules about shared spaces in the apartment and what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. And Devin says, "I don't think it's appropriate for people to be sat on in this apartment." And Kyra says, "I actually agree. I think that's the one thing that we can actually agree upon, Devin. And I think that that would be easier if you didn't fall asleep on the couch." And Devin's like, "I don't always choose where I fall asleep. Sometimes I just fall asleep."
This conversation is not being productive at all. You're saying the same things you say almost every single day. So, how about we try something different?
They both kind of stare at you like, "And what would?"
Okay, so, Devin, you need a place to crash that is not your bedroom when you come home in the middle of the night, correct? And that is not the couch.
I don't see why it shouldn't be the couch, but go on.
Because you get sat on more than the couch. So, how about we either get a tiny couch or a small bed and we put it in the living room for you?
Kyra says, "I don't feel like I should have to pay for help chip in for a couch, so I don't sit on Devin."
It
I
doesn't
think that
have to be anything special, you know? It can just be like a cushion or something. You're small enough. We can get anything so that it is not this.
Devin's like,
Okay.
"You want to get me a cat bed?"
I wasn't gonna call it that, but kinda.
That's really insensitive. That's
It's
really an insensitive thing to
I
say.
said a cushion. I said a cushion, and we can. I can help you make it look more like a normal bed.
Devin flits up, flies to her room, slams the door.
Uh,
Kyra's like, "Yeah, we gotta get her a cat bed."
is that a terrible idea? Doesn't sound like a terrible
Lightheaded,
idea.
laughing so much.
Me too.
No. Listen, we could get her a cardboard box and fill her with pillows. I really don't care. I
We can make it
genuinely don't
nicer
care.
than just a cardboard box. Okay, I know, but
I don't
Colonel
want to
would
spend a lot of
kill
money.
you to check.
She has a bed. She has a bed.
It does. But would
She
it
has a
kill you
bed that's like
just to lift up a...
human-sized bed. That means it's like 6 pixie beds.
I know. But you know she does this. You can just look. Look at the couch until we get the I'm not gonna say cat bed. There's not a cat bed.
Well, if you're looking for not cat beds, I know there's a place up in Fayhaven that like there's like a lady who makes not cat beds. And like, I know you're going to be up there for work anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm not, you should not have to pay for it. Please do not. Just,
It's
if you find
fine.
something,
Yeah.
send us some pictures. Like, Crystal, send us some pictures. Tell us how much. I will pay for some of it if listen, I don't want Devin
We
to
can
know this.
also kind of DIY
Devin
it. It's not gonna be that expensive.
Devin should pay for it. But if Devin won't pay for it, between you and me, maybe it's a present. Maybe it's that present. Maybe
Huh.
it's. Is that passive aggressive? Is that like when my mom would buy me deodorant as a present when I like turned 12?
I learn new things about you every day. Kinda? But we can make it not that. I'll make it really nice. I'll make it really pretty. And it's a don't get sad on present.
Don't get sad on present. Some people would want the opposite present. There's a,
I'm sure
like,
she does as well, but different situation, not you.
hey, goes to high five.
She kinda goes to high five, but it's more of a touch.
Like, okay, I gotta go do morning prayers. I still haven't broken my fast yet. I think I would be happier if none of this happened before I had to eat. Do you understand? Like,
Sure, I do.
I'm not supposed to. See, she can go out and have all the midnight snacks that she wants. I'm not supposed to do that.
I know. But how about I
Not.
make something really nice for when you're ready to eat?
But you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't feel like you had to. I need this to be
I'm gonna
known.
do it anyway.
Well, then
What's
I'm
the
gonna eat
difference?
it. I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat so much of it. I don't know what you're making, but I'm gonna eat it.
I don't know yet. I'll figure it out. I think I also need to get some groceries.
This is a very similar conversation. You have had this day many, many times before
Oh, yeah.
now. Cairo goes out. He goes out to his little prayer tent and his prayer mat, and he starts to do his morning prayers. What do you think that? What do you think that Luce makes for them that morning?
I think she'll make something simpler, but a little bit more nutritious than pancakes, which they want often. She'll make some omelets with like a side of. This is when I'm very upset by the situation in the medical waste. What kind of vegetables or real things can I get?
Roll me a luck check.
Oh, painful. No, 8
Are you looking for fruits or vegetables?
vegetables.
You found 2 asparagus that somebody sold you for a silver.
Yeah. Groceries, that's something we really need. She'll kinda add the asparagus to the omelet because she cannot put them on the side. It wouldn't work. Too many people, not enough. And she'll make like a little plate with sauce and add some toasted bread to the side. Like a whole spread of little plates with little things on them. Some cheese, some ham, some meat. Add some other hard-boiled eggs so that there's more options. She'll make some juice if she could find anything to make the juice with. That is fresh, if not the
You
best
know,
next thing.
yeah, most of the time you're getting essentially like imported juice concentrate, and you can add
Mm.
water to it, and then it will, like, it's like a powder essentially. It approximates what the juice you grew up with tastes like.
But every time she makes it, she's a little sad. Just a little. It doesn't taste bad, but it's not
Not the
what she would
same.
like.
Usually you would probably spend your time going out with your cart and, doing some of that But today, you know, you have a bunch of errands that you have to run. You definitely need to stock up on some of your ingredients. You like to go up to the wholesale market really early in the morning, but you were able to do that yesterday. You were actually able to get a bunch of like fresh fish. You have some stuff that's marinating, and you're probably going to actually do some more tomorrow right before you go out with your cart because you don't want anything to go bad. So you're mostly stocking up on the ingredients that you need for like the cooking, the more the less fresh ingredient side of things. Maybe now you're looking for a cat bed, question mark.
I do not make it look like a cat bed.
What else? What other ingredients do you think Spondaloose has on her like agenda?
I think every time she gets the opportunity to go look for ingredients or groceries, she'll try to find anything at all that is fresh.
Love it.
She's trying to like hit up places she's heard that they bring stuff from the Feywild. She hasn't quite figured out what and where and who she should talk to. But
Yeah.
she's trying to find that because she's heard of it and she needs it.
You are coming at a lucky time because after decolonization, now that the portal to Feyhaven exists at the way station, that's starting to happen. There's a lot of like new stuff that needs to get approved. It's still expensive. And honestly, there's a lot of like, why should we be exporting the resources we just got back to other places? Like a lot of the Feywild doesn't have commerce the same way. You don't have gold and silver. That's much more of an elven principle and a human principle. But sometimes you can get your mom and your sister to send you things when your sister is visiting. You don't want to necessarily visit quite yet because you're a little worried if you go back for a couple days, you come back and 10 years have passed and your friends are old or maybe dead, which would be very nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Humans are like that. They're so fragile. So, what do you think if Luke could find any like produce? What do you think would be like her top gets of like this would like be like this is what we gotta do?
Onions.
You've been able to find a pretty solid synthetic onion substitute, but it's not quite the same.
Absolutely not. It is unacceptable. The look, it is just as much part of the dish than the flavor. She needs that lemons, limes, I guess.
Amazing.
She needs avocado. And like
you have not seen an avocado since you got you there again. It's something that you can get in a paste form. There's like you can get a tube of avocado paste.
But it's not the same. It's just and she uses that for some of her dishes, but it just doesn't work the same. And so she has a list also like good, fresh, big, nice potatoes. There's a whole list that she has of almost like a wish list at this point.
It's Lou's dream also real quick, Sean, what time is 3:30? You can respond to that, it's in the text. What time is 3:30?
It's about now.
It's about now? Perfect. This is great. We're just about in a good place for this. I was about to say, usually, Lou, you know when you would be coming back and forth, you would just take the ferry, but bringing this many groceries and like having all that stuff, usually you prefer to take like something a little bit more reliable. And actually, Devin just recommended to you a taxi service that she uses. She loves it. It's her absolute favorite. And for some reason, the guy who runs it is like always very, very prompt and like helpful. So do you think that my loaded question is, do you think that that's what Lou would try that today?
No, absolutely not. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Lou would go first over to Devin's door, knock lightly, and say, "Hey, I made breakfast.
Is it cat
Gonna go
food?
out." No, honey, I'm sorry. I promise
I'm
I'll.
not even a little bit tabaxi. I take great offense, and one of my ants was eaten by a cat.
Oh, I'm gonna get you something nicer. It's not gonna be any type of pet bed, okay? And if you don't like it, you don't have to use it.
She kind of cracks her
It'll be
door
an
open.
alternative.
She's
Hi.
like, it has to be really, really comfy and low to the ground.
Yes, I'll make sure it is. Hey, anything is better than getting sat on, but I'll make sure it is very nice.
Yeah.
And hey, I made a lot of things, so pick anything you like. I'll be back sometime later today.
Okay, fine. I'm not mad at you. I'm just mad at Cairo. And then takes
No,
the
I
plate.
love you.
Tio, where does the morning find you when you get your first call of the day?
About what time? Like what when in the morning?
Looking at about 8 or
About
9.
8. He's definitely over at the little market stall, trying to grab a croissant. His typical morning.
Ever since you woke up and before you woke up, you have been getting message after message on your crystal from Juniper in a way that Juniper has never been in contact with you before. Just like message, 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 message. And like some of them sound very much like what Juniper had sent in that list, like concern. They're like, here's what you should do, here's your travel plans. And then like kind of like pissed off and like, I can't really believe you're doing this to me, but like you're having a very weird like you're actually mine. Don't forget that you're mine and bring a sweater.
Tia will definitely see all of these and of course regard each one like individually with a different emotion and just being like, oh, this is kind of nice. It's kind of nice that I'm getting these messages that make me feel like I'm a valued person to this. And don't forget your keys. All right. I'm not taking the car. But all right. Don't forget your mine. I can't. And he's just like meeting each one with, "Oh, this is really nice," or oh, "What the hell? What's going on?"
Emotional whiplash.
Emotional. It's an emotional roller coaster, yeah. And like if Juniper is like actually looking at the phone or at the crystal each time, every once in a while there'll be like the little ellipsis of writing a message, just because he's drafted so many. Thanks, I really appreciate it. And then we'll get the next message and be like, "Are you all right?" And then we'll get the next message and be like, "Okay, that one's kind of nice." And then just like he's been drafting and redrafting messages over and over, just to be like trying to meet the energy.
Trying
So
to
it seems
match them where they are, but they're all over the place, so you don't know what to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
it
and
seems like
especially because up until now, Juniper has been almost like an antagonist for Tio. So seeing Care and then just seeing Care has been like, wow, that's nice. And then, oh wait, we're back to this. Nope. Okay, cool. So it's been a little bit of a roller coaster.
so Tio seems like he's kind of taking it a little with a grain of salt of like it seems like Juniper's trying their best, but also I don't know
Yeah.
how to respond to this.
Yeah.
And as you try and navigate through the wall of messages. Ding! You get your first call for the day for someone who wants you to pick them up on Heshael. Lou, how do you you have this number from Devin, you get in contact. Do you call or message to order this text?
Oh. I feel like Lou's been getting the hang of texting, but she texts like an old person. She's not used to that. She prefers talking. She likes talking.
Gio, your crystal rings. Bing, 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 bing.
He was probably eating this croissant at the bakery, so I believe that was Cass. So he'll look up to Cass and like wipe the croissant flakes out of his fur and
Got a call already this morning?
yeah, apparently somebody's needing me early, and he'll just tap it and yes, hello.
Hi.
Hello. Yes,
Hey.
this is Ghanim Taxi Service.
Yeah, hi. A friend gave me your number. Could you pick me up? Heshael now? Oh god, I need to give you my address, correct?
Yes. If you just drop me a pin on your crystal, I'll be able to find you. How quick do you need me?
Whenever you can get here, not in any hurry. I've never dropped a pin before.
All right. I will. If you're
Gio,
all right
you
with
know that
messages.
you know that it's probably easiest since there aren't any roads on Heshael. But you can probably just pick them up at the ferry station. There's essentially like a road or like a designated area for taxi pickups near the ferry station.
Sure. In which case, yeah. He begins to be like, all right, I'll send you a message if you like to explain how to drop a pin. But it might just be easier if you head to the ferry station. The most common ground place to pick you up at.
Right, I do know how to get there. Great, that sounds good. Thank you.
All right, I'll be there post haste.
How? Oh, right.
And he will put the crystal down and like look up at Cass and just thank you so much. He'll drop an extra couple of coins on the counter and just like take the last bit of the
Things
croissant.
like no jam? No jam?
No
jam? You don't want any jam?
No time today, Ink. But next time, and he'll just take the last of the croissant. And
If you took the potion where you could do things fast, then you would have time.
That's true. I'll have to take a look at that next time. But I gotta go, mate. And he'll like cram the rest of the croissant just in his mouth and spin on his Pete's and out the door. Run back across because this little market was like right across the street from his apartment, right? Yeah. So just run straight back across the street, hop into the apartment, grab just a couple of little sundry things, make sure to pick up Bess, pop him in his pocket, and head out to the garage.
You go to your garage where this beautiful handcrafted car that you built still resides. Get into it, the engine purrs to life. Little Bess runs up onto the dashboard. He's ready to start the day with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you see little Bess, poor little Bess, hops back on the dashboard. He is essentially the representation of your car. This little avatar of your car who's been with you since the beginning now. I'm holding the phone for you, and every once in a while he's still really, I wasn't doing thumbs up. He's still really into the bobblehead that you've put up. And so every once in a while, the phone will kind of, the crystal will kind of wobble a little bit because he has leaned over to start talking to the bobblehead, who continues not to speak back. But apparently, the yeses or nos that Bess receives from the bobblehead are enough to have a conversation with it as much as possible. You head over, taking the roads out of town onto what is essentially like a super highway outside of the city itself, and not all cars, not all automobiles in this city have the ability to do what you can do. You don't really need tires to get around, and especially in a floating city. Getting from one island to another just involves a little bit of ingenuity. So how does Bess change? How does the car change as you drive to essentially the edge of Terrakea to...
So for those who have not seen or have not listened to our first episode of What Happened in the Malachite Wastes, Theo's car is fully hand built between mostly him, help from his dad. It is a like lightly aged brass color. It's built like a sedan, so 4 doors. But it is Tio is an artificer, so it is very, very, very mechanical and magical in its mechanical aspects. So, as it's not really on wheels per se, but where the wheel wells would be, there are levitating crystals that glow softly, that propel the car away from the ground and whatever it needs to be in whatever aspect. So as he's getting ready, flipping switches on the dash, setting up the navigation system. Even the navigation system is not even a screen; it is a fully mechanical, whole lots of metal plates, and it looks like a topographical map.
like a 3D
scrolls.
puzzle that slots
Yes.
itself.
So, as the little automaton, which is a little guardian automaton from the artificer class, the little automaton version of Bess sinks down into the dash to help plot the course. Tio's flipping switches and turning dials, and the car itself compacts a little bit. Panels will slide into place, and as he's cruising through the streets, he's just more and more streamlined. But then when he gets to the edge of the city, the crystals themselves, the levitation crystals, will extend a little bit from the side of the wheel welds on the car, and that way he can take to the sky a little easier to get to this other island.
You know that you haven't been able to, and it would be pretty difficult to develop the kind of thing for an individual vehicle that could fly for any indefinite amount of time. But the way that you've constructed this and the debris of malachite that exists within the atmosphere of the archipelagos themselves, you've essentially created something that lightly repels against the malachite itself, and you've given it enough power to control it that you're able to stay airborne steadily for the several kilometer journey between Phosphor proper, the main island where Terrakea is, and Heshael. It's not always the least bumpy. It's a little bit like flying through an asteroid field, but unlike science fiction in which asteroid fields are always causing such problems, and more like in real life, the debris itself is far enough and in between that you're not worried about constant collisions, as long as, everything's been charged up and you've prepared in advance for this eventuality.
It's more like an island hopper kind of thing, where he's like rappelling from rock to rock.
Yeah. You arrive at the ferry station. Most people will just take the ferry. And there's a possibility that it would be easier to take the ferry into Phosphor, but I got the feeling that if you're gonna spend all day ferrying somebody around for errands, it's nice to get a chance to get to know them a little bit. You are able to pull up in the kind of designated taxi area at the ferry station and see Spondaloose, who has already made her way there.
Is Spondaloose the only one at the
You see
taxi
there's a few
station?
people who are like more on their phones, but when you arrive, Spondaloose probably gets some kind of metaphor notification on their crystal, metification on their crystal, that like you've arrived and probably knows it's you.
Okay. Essentially, he will rock up. Like again, didn't get a description. He completely spaced on it. With all the messages he's been getting, it's been a weird morning.
Oh, I did not. Yeah, we did not get a description of little Tio. Oversight on my part.
Well, Tio also didn't get a description of his future passenger. So he will rock up to this taxi station at the ferry port, and this green and antique brass cab pulls up, and out pops from the driver's seat, from behind the steering mechanism, is a very short, size small, red panda. He is a lightly humanoid red panda in little trousers, little vest, little cappy slouch hat, and sleeves rolled up to his elbows, and just a bright red accents on his face and tail, dark fur coming out from over the top of the shirt. He's pretty upbeat typically, and today he's while he's not like whistling or singing or anything, there's just a little spark of hope in his eyes today. So he's been having a weird morning, but he still feels pretty good about events that have gone down recently. So he that's my persona. Tio hops out of the cab, and he like takes a rag and like wipes a little bit off of one of the fenders, and then comes around to the side where he was the passenger in, but he just kind of looks at everybody on the deck
Platform.
and just goes, on the platform, yeah, and just like, right, I forgot. See who I was picking up. Anyone call for a cab?
I think that's for me. Hi.
I recognize the voice. Yes. Right this way. What size is Spondaloose?
She is about 5'2".
So medium size.
Yeah.
Cool. He will as soon as he clocks who is getting in the cab, he will open the door and then speed around to the driver's side. The cab is very small right now, fit for small people, small-sized people. And he will hop back in the driver's seat, reach around the steering mechanism, do a couple more clicks, take a little device out of his pocket that's a little crystal embedded in an electronic device, and he will put that into the dash, twist it, press a button, and the car itself will, as if from a liminal space, panels will, and the car itself will get a size bigger, to where it can fit a medium-sized person in the back seat. The door is open. He'll just put an arm around his seat and just go, "All right, hop in. Where are we going?"
Oh, Hey, good morning. That was a really cool trick. I
Thank you.
am going to. And see, please remind me. Where is it that Lou needs to go?
You think you're going to be running a lot of your errands up in Fayhaven today?
Good. Then Lou would say Fayhaven.
Right, I know Fayhaven well. Hop in. You might want to strap in. It is a little bit of a bumpy ride to the other islands.
Quite alright.
But hop in, strap in, and we'll get to move on.
She'll get in comfortably, like. She'll fluff out her skirt she would have dressed to go out. She would be wearing like a frilly long skirt, red color, and a white blouse tucked inside. She's braided her hair, so now instead of just loose waves, it's the same water movement but braided to like chunky braids at front.
That is a cool visual, Ellie. Seriously, that's like different strands of water braided over. That's very cool. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So once she is in and ready to go, he will. All right. He'll flick the bobblehead, which of course will bring little Bess up out of the dash, and just kind of look at him like, "Why did you do that?" And he's like, "All right, we're taking to Fayhaven, plotting the course." And Bess will give the tiniest little salute and hop back down into the dashboard, and we'll get started.
You guys make your way through this little kind of asteroid field. And Lou, this is the first time that you've really traveled in like a cab like this, like having an individual sort of transport system. This isn't something you're used to from the Feywild, and it's not something public transit in the city is really good. So like having an individual kind of thing like this is a new experience for you.
Excuse me.
Hi.
That everything was really, really interesting. Is this normal for cabs in the city, or?
I'd say not very normal. I've been working on Bess here for quite a while. And science, magic, and I figured combining both together would be a more effective practice.
My first time in a cab, and I don't know. It's pretty exciting.
Oh well, there is a radio with some controls back there. So if you want to turn on the radio, see what we've got going. If you want to listen to some music, you can. If you'd rather talk along the way, I'm up for that as well. My name is Tio. This is Gananim. Tiomanai Gananim Taxi Service. So, welcome, and I am pleased to be your first taxi in this area. How long have you been here?
6 months. Nice to meet you. My name is Pondelus, or Lou is also good.
Pondelus, that's a beautiful name. Beautiful name.
Thank
Do you
you.
prefer Spondelus, or should I just call you Lou?
Either works. My friends call me Lou a lot, so Spondylus can be a little long.
Oh, well, if I'm honored enough to be counted among your friends, I'll call you Lou as well.
Why not?
All right. It's going to be again a bit of a bumpy ride as he begins navigating between bouncing from like rock to rock in the between the archipelago.
Lou will start to try to mess with the radio. She doesn't really know how it works. So it's just a bunch of static for a while.
If he hears some static and he looks up in the like a rearview mirror and you're not skittish around tiny creatures, are you?
No, not really.
All right. He'll just kind of tap the dash, and hey, Bess, help her out. And the little automaton, who, if I am Tio size, Bess is literally about this big, teeny tiny little guy. He's the size of a bobblehead on the dashboard. He'll hop out of the dashboard, and he's just this little, like, almost triangle shaped. He kind of floats on one little crystal, little shoulders and little arms. And he will hop out of the dash, glance over to the bobblehead, and then just hop towards the back seat to help show you how to work the radio.
That is so precious.
I like
Cute
my little
little
guardian
guy.
automaton.
Reminds me of a little crab.
A little crab. Hey Bess, you think I should put little pincers on you? And the little automaton would just like spin around and be like the little gems in the eyes would like spin around to where the tops are flat, so he can look mad, he can look sad, and he'll just turn around and.
It's around this time when you actually get a really interesting. Usually, you have two ways of getting essentially messages. There's your classic cab service.
Mhm.
There's also the required cab service that you're well used to of being summoned. This is something interesting. You're getting a message through the Fae service, but it's a request.
Well, that's interesting. And he'll like reach up on the dash and tap the crystal for a sec.
And it's from like an unknown, like a blocked number. And it says like, need elf, parentheses, birdie, need pickup mid-city for delivery to Faehaven. ASAP.
Right. And I'm assuming Mid-City's kind of on the way to Faehaven from where we're
Yes,
going.
and
right?
you see that there's like a ... for a second, and then unprompted, 1,000 gold on delivery.
All right. We're gonna take just a minor detour. If you have any objections to me picking up one more fare on the way to Faehaven, because I've got somebody else that needs to go there. If you don't mind, I'd like to stop and pick them up along the way.
Oh no, that sounds good.
All right. Once you're done fiddling with the radio back there, Bess, hop back up here so we can plot the new course.
Bess kind of zigzags up there, hops, kind of looks at you for a second first, Lou, like to kind of be like, what are we listening to? Like changes it so it starts playing like kind of stares at you, and then it goes like changes it, and it's sort of some like kind of like rap style music, and it's sort of staring at you. Changes it so you're hearing like heavy woodwind instrumentals. It's kind of like a elf sound bath, and is like staring at you, just kind of flipping through the channels, like waiting to see when you like respond to something that you like.
Not something upbeat.
Changes it and it kind of starts playing like kind of like pop music, like there's like a kind of like female vocalist, like I'm not coming up with it on the spot. You know that it's man, I'm just gonna say Ellen Fast. Ellen Fast is the Taylor Swift of this world. It's Ellen Fast's new album.
I was gonna say Spritney Beers, but okay.
Spritney Beers is also great.
Please.
Britney Beers goes
It's actually
hard.
Spritney Beers and Ellen Fast's new album collab.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
I feel like
We
Lou
finally
doesn't listen to a
freed.
lot of radio, so she's heard to what Devin likes, which is
Yeah.
more party music. And then Kara's more just actually playing instruments, so does Lou.
Yeah.
So this is pretty new and good. This is fun.
It's the Green Album Ellen's version. featuring Spitney Beers.
This is good. Thank you.
You can see that Bess gives you like a little like, like his like little mad eyebrows go back to like being like little pleasant eyebrows, and then zigzags up to the front. And on this kind of map made of these brass slides on this like 3D puzzle of a map, you see a little diversion there's like a little gold glowing line that was the path. There's like a little secondary point now that goes boop, boop, and it's out in mid city.
All right, I'll be there in a few moments. Enjoy the music. If you have any questions, let me know. I've been here for a few years myself, so yeah, we'll get this
Thanks.
party going.
Oh, actually, I do have a question.
Hi.
I need to get a cushion, a bed for a small pixie.
Oh,
That is
pixie
not a
bed.
pet bed.
It's not a pet. I can see how that would be problematic. Well,
Yeah.
I know
And
a few pixies myself.
Tio, I was gonna say, knowing the area, you know that there are places that sell like pixie-sized beds and stuff like that.
Yeah. I happen to know a few pixies myself, and I bet we can find you something suitable.
Oh, please. Devon got really mad at me this morning.
Oh no. You didn't. Nobody said anything about a dog bed, did they?
No, she did, but then Cairo said yes.
Well. Yes, I'll see what we can do to find you a place to take care of you.
Okay, thank you. I would appreciate that.
And so he intends to, like, when he stops in Faehaven to pick somebody up, he will grab his crystal and message. Let's go with Laurel. He'll message Laurel to
absolutely.
ask about a absolutely not pet bed.
So you're messaging Laurel like right when you get to Midtown, like when you stop.
Yes.
So before you pick up your next. Yeah, Laurel gets back to you right away and is like, "Yeah, I actually know there's a new booth that opened up pretty recently, that it's all these little bespoke beds for like smaller fae and small people in general who are living in big housing situations, and so they need something a little more portable." And then she's literally like, as soon as you say, like, she's so happy to be asked, she's literally sending you options of like, are they certain fae don't sleep in beds, so they need certain things that are like, you're not allowed to have like actual bed springs, but if you make a lot of like clothing that's knitted together, does she prefer nest style or bed style? What kind of firmness does she like? She's literally like kind of like just like inundating you with like, and Laurel, as essentially almost like the self-appointed spokesperson for Faehaven in the Fae diaspora, is like very, very on top of this.
Tio begins to try to ask, like, what kind of does your friend prefer? You know what? And he'll take out that same little device with a little crystal encased in metal, and just kind of like to his crystal, and then like toss it to the back of the seat headrest in front of Lou. Will light up with a little crystal screen, just to kind of show the text message thread, and be like, "So my friend says there's some options, and a lot of pixies have differing tastes and differing things. So if you tell us what you're looking for, and feel free
Laurel,
to type."
the chat is moving so fast because Laurel is sending pictures now. Laurel is
The screen itself is touch sensitive, so you can scroll back up to see, and if there's anything that strikes your fancy, just let us know.
Oh, thank you. This will be very useful. My friend is more like, party type of person. She sleeps in a massive for her, big bed. So she likes
So like,
comfort.
she likes comfort. She sleeps in a big bed, as in big bed to us tiny folk, or just a big bed in general.
Like a me bed.
Ah, yes. All right. So yeah, just so a uh fairly well. If she's got to bed, if you don't mind me asking, why do you need a new one?
Um, so I mentioned that she's a party person, and she tends to go out at night and then come back very, very late. And then she sleeps on the couch, which, for a small person that's not easily seen, it has had some unintended consequences. And
As
Accidental sits in.
as Lou is explaining the situation, um, Birdie, you see this like cab slide up, and again, it's kind of unusual that Lucky hasn't A, been in contact with you in person today, and B, that he hasn't been more like telling you what's going on. But the cab is here. It's probably for you.
Yeah, she's talking on her crystal, and um, what's the name of the pixie roommate again?
Devin.
Devin. So they see Birdie, kind of mid-sized elf woman, sparkly done up on her crystal, and she's talking as she like sees the cab and like gets in, and what Pio and Lou hears, all right, Devin, I'll call you back. I'll see you later. Okay, bye. And she's like, hey, for Birdie? B-I-R-D-I-E?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank
Here's
you
the
so
pixie
much.
birdie.
I got you know what? I have some extra coffees. You don't want to see me before caffeine, right? Anyway, if you either of you, oh my gosh, hi to Lou.
Hi. She'll scoot over.
Lou, were
Hi.
you out with Devin last night at all?
No.
Okay. then Birdie would not recognize Lou.
Anyway, yeah, we got let's see, this one's just a classic mocha oat milk, of course. And this one, I think this is just like a chai, if either of you want. Anyway, here you go. And she like puts it in the center, like finds a cup holder or some sort of place to put the drinks. Kind of gets
Because of Tio's size, he will like look in the back and just like smash a little button on the dash, and a cup holder will, and then just like reach out behind his seat so that you can put whichever one, and he'll just be like, either of those sounds good. So whichever one the lady doesn't prefer, I'll take. I appreciate it.
perfect. Oh my gosh, amazing. Preference to
Chai?
sorry. Here you go. And mocha for you. Thanks so much. And she gets comfy and is like, all right, we're all good.
And she's a medium size birdie.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's already the right size. No need to adjust or anything like that. Then yeah, he'll press the button. We'll bring it. The cup holder will come back to the front, and he'll just go, oh,
The one thing that
nice
Birdie
one.
will spend money on is her coffees, her teas. So it is actually good.
And I think at this point, like as he's drinking it, he'll just that's what'll make him realize, oh, he didn't get all of the flakes of croissant out of his whiskers, and he'll just sorry about that, terribly unprofessional. All right, so you're heading up to Fayhaven as well.
I am.
If you will, even the same app that you used, if you'll just drop a pin for me where you need to go, and we will we are on our way to Fayhaven to drop both of you off.
Would Birdie know where she's going? Is my question.
Birdie does not entirely know where she's going.
She'll probably drop a pin at like the transit hub.
Yeah. You know that's where Lucky will send, like, oftentimes when in doubt, go to wherever, like, the subway stop would be, and you're gonna find whatever Lucky needs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, buckle in, and we will get started. And,
Tio, your crystal begins to ring.
sorry, give me just a moment before we get going, so I'm not talking while driving. And he'll reach up, grab his crystal, and yes, hello.
What is the point of sending messages if you don't respond to them?
I haven't been exactly sure how to respond. I appreciate you looking out for me, trying to help me remember what to bring, but also just got real busy very early picking up fares.
But you always respond.
Yes, and I keep trying to respond with thank you, and then you'll send another one, and I just don't want to say thank you over and over. So I just figured I'd wait until you were done sending messages and make one big response.
That sounds like an excuse.
What sort of response would you want? Would you be looking for?
I don't know, that's why I messaged you. If I knew what you
Right.
were going to say all the time and had all of your answers, I wouldn't bother speaking to you.
And like those in the back seat would be able to see like the fur on the back of Tio's neck begin to like bristle a little bit as he's clearly not having as good a moment as he has the rest of the morning. He's been pretty upbeat till now. It's just like, all right, yeah, I appreciate you helping remind me of what I need to take on this trip, and I will remember where I need to be and where I promised to be for all of this. And I
I
just
need
want
to
to
see
thank.
you before you go.
All right, yeah, we can do that.
And before you go, I mean immediately.
Well, I have 2 fares.
Immediately.
And
I'm-
Tio, you literally feel the cab, and everyone who's in the cab feels this sort of vacuum suck feel. There's weird. There's a space and time, and then all of a sudden it's out again. And you're in front of a very, it's not quite in the marbles. It's more adjacent to Fayhaven than the marbles, but it's a house that looks like it belongs in the marbles in Fayhaven. This is a beautiful, stately house at the base of Fayhaven, and you're there suddenly.
Sorry, don't mean to be rude, but what exactly is going on?
Not only are you out, like, you're not just out on the street, you are literally in the courtyard of Tio, what you recognize to be Juniper's home under the great Malachite tree, under the great the stone tree with Malachite leaves.
Is Juniper still on the phone with Tio at this point?
No, they hung up
Okay.
immediately after saying that.
Okay, cool.
No time for response.
He will like just put the phone gently down on the dash and then just pause to face, being like,
Are you okay, friend?
he'll do that thing, like that Lilo and Stitch thing of like clawing at his face, just like,
And you see Juniper standing like at the entryway to the house from the courtyard, just like arms crossed.
What form?
In their Fey Lord form, their full adult, like, regal outfit. They wanna be intimidating right now.
I am, I'm very sorry. Not. This is incredibly unprofessional. My patron needed to talk to me. I hope this won't take too long.
Oh, if this is how your patron handles things, listen, we're gonna have some words. Not your fault at all. You're doing amazing. Thank you so much. This is the best cab that I've ever been in. Please. And Birdie's like, sorry. What was your name again? Yeah. Sorry, Lou. Okay, me and Lou, and you are Tio. She's
Tio,
like,
yes. Sorry, I am
Tio. Amazing. Love you both. Lou and I, Tio, we're on your side. We can handle this. It's okay.
Right.
Yeah, what she said.
Lou
And you just
and
look up and see Juniper looking extremely impatient and pissed off.
Juniper's also probably closer to the cab now than they were the last time you looked at it. Probably
But
without.
you didn't see them walk anywhere. They're just closer.
Would I recognize that this is like Faye?
Yeah.
Oh,
This is Faye, like not your hometown Faye, but homeworld
Yeah.
Faye. Sure.
Theo,
Hi.
do you need any help? My sister happens to be an archfey.
I don't think I need any help. He'll tap on the dashboard and little Bess will come back out and he will just stay here, watch over them, and Bess will do for mechanical purposes of the game, like because Bess is that guardian automaton. Bess's little antenna on his head will glow a little bit of a blue, and will cast like an aura of protection on the cab. That's just what he does when he's feeling stressed and when he wants to make sure that everybody in the cab does not feel stressed as
Sweet
well.
boy.
So,
Birdie and Lou, do you want to stay in the cab?
Absolutely not. Birdie is like opening the door. She's like taking off her earrings. She's ready.
She's gonna throw hands.
She is
Lou
ready.
doesn't quite understand what is happening, so she is following because she still doesn't understand if this is not a normal cab incident. Is this what happens in cabs?
She's like, this is just what cabs are like, apparently.
And
So
also,
if-
pop music is still playing from the back.
yeah, so it's toxic right now.
Yeah. No, it's Poison by Spritney Beers.
Poison. Yeah,
It's Poison by Spritney Beers. Yeah.
Yeah. If y'all are getting out, just understand y'all are getting out before Tio has even got out. So he's starting to panic. He's like, oh,
He's like, oh shit.
No.
But it's getting out. Lou's like, I guess we're getting out.
And it's like, so he just grabs Bess, puts him on his shoulder, and just like hurriedly gets out of the cab, and like little tail poofed, just like trying to get in front of them to be like, no. He's just like,
Wait, I'm Tio. I need you to roll a dex check to see if you can get in front.
Oh my
Actually, I
God.
would like a contested dex check between Birdie and Tio, because I don't think Lou would purposely try and get in the front of it.
No,
Alright,
Lou is
here we
confused and
go.
following Birdie.
Oh, he's little. His dex is not amazing.
Oh,
What's that face?
A
Is that a
nat
nat
20,
20?
probably.
not quite, but that is a 19 on the dice.
Ooh.
Well, mine's a 10 on the dice.
Birdie,
so
you're
that
taking the lead.
brings it to 11. So he's like
21.
tiny little. Yeah, he's like tiny little. What was it, like 3'2" or whatever it was? He's just like chasing after, like, no.
And Juniper is completely ignoring Birdie and Lou. His eyes are on Tio.
he's just padding as fast as his tiny little legs can carry him, like just arms out in front, like, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, 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 no."
And Birdie's not gonna fight yet, but she, in all of her like 5'3" stature, and because she's had a morning. She's a little annoyed. Lucky is being like even less communicative than normal, and she's had like maybe half a coffee, which is not enough. And so she's getting up. She's kind of sees Juniper and is just walking up and, straightening up me. Hey there. Nice to meet you. Tio here, yeah?
Juniper is ignoring her completely.
Okay, cool. Love that. Let's see how this goes. And we'll wait for Tio, but is standing right next to Juniper, just kind of dagger eyes.
Also, as far as Tio's like dexterity being a little subpar, his speed is 35, so he is a little bit of a swift guy, for being so tiny.
You're not far behind. Birdie just kind of like was
Yeah.
able to like get the little thing on you, and Birdie's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And you're kind of like right under the arm, like, "Hello," like.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just like he just inserts himself between and like, Juniper, I'm
Nice
terribly
of
sorry.
you to show up.
Yes, as I was trying to say, I've got two fares at the moment, but we were on our way to Fayhaven anyway. What can I do for you?
Again, why haven't you responded? Do you have nothing to say for me after the gift I've given you? The gift of being able to see your family?
Well, I said thank you. I said thank you so much. Even the night of. And of course.
Do you not understand how big of a deal this is?
I do.
If you were under another patron, you may have never been able to see your family.
I understand.
Do you understand the weight of this situation?
Yes, I do understand completely, and I don't take it lightly.
I'm starting to think you don't.
What are you saying?
It doesn't seem like you're treating this with the respect that is due, or me for that matter.
I
have given you everything here. And when I message you, I expect a response.
Tio, make a insight check into Juniper for me. And Juniper, you can decide whether or not you're going to contest it.
No, I don't think they're thinking about that.
Birdie's expression.
I think that this is like pure just emotion coming from Juniper. I don't think they're really thinking about much.
Jesus, I keep rolling 10s. However, that makes it a 15. I've got good insight.
Decent.
Since Birdie is right up, kind of in between, could you also kind of roll something to get like, how serious is this?
Go ahead and also roll an insight check.
Did y'all date and it ended badly? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Is this Crazy Ex?
Instead, for Lou, I think she would start to understand the situation because she does know from similar cases and things. Her sister has told her stories. She's pretty pissed off right now, Lou.
Yeah, Lou also make an insight. I want everyone to make an insight check on Juniper.
But I don't know if Lou would be able to would recognize the like very loosely based Gaelic that just because it's the loosely based translation after you've heard him say Tiomanai Gananim loosely translates to unnamed driver. So if you're from if Lou
Yeah, you
is, of
would
course,
have
from the
actually
Feywild,
probably, even if it wasn't your regional dialect when he introduced himself, you may not have been thinking about it at the time, but now in this context, driver without a name, okay.
Yeah, and I got a 16 insight.
16
Dirty
insight,
20.
20, okay.
Dirty 20.
Shit.
Not unnatural.
Tio, you are listening to this? This doesn't sound like Juniper, as in, like, Juniper's usually, like, fairly cordial and, like, sort of almost, like, teasing with you. This seems like Juniper is, like, the best thing you can get is, like, Juniper seems distressed and anxious. Like, you are realizing very quickly that this is just not something Juniper has done before, and Juniper is uncomfortable with the dynamics that are now exist in this. That makes a lot of sense to you, Lou, because this seems like this. You think from this, you can deduce that not only is this a patron relationship, but Juniper probably has Tio's name.
Oh, yeah.
And between Fae, that is a very sacred bond. And what you think you're seeing is the renegotiation of what that relationship looks like in real time. And Tio does not understand the weight of that. Tio is being treated poorly by someone. Essentially, in non-Fae terms, Tio is being treated very poorly. In Fae terms, Juniper is being fairly generous. Those two things are not meeting on a cultural level in this moment, and you having that unique perspective coming from the Feywild, understand that. Birdie, something is messed up. This is weird, and you are also, I think, as someone who deals with sort of the shady elements of society, whether or not you have a full understanding of, like, Fae culture, social dynamics are really, really weird right now. And two people both have very hurt feelings and are showing it in very, very different ways. And Juniper is incredibly intimidating, and you're also seeing right through them, and right now they seem like scared.
Yeah. Birdie is her approach to solving things is to also make the other person more nervous or
You recognize that very much in Juniper, that this sense of, like, this is a persona built entirely around having the upper hand in the conversation. Always.
Birdie's going to try and position herself so she's, like, kind of facing Juniper more on Tio's side and is just still glaring. Like,
Juniper has not looked at her or met her eyes once.
oh yeah. No, but this is all she knows. She's like, if I'm flashy enough, people will pay attention to me and then I can get in how I want.
I think
it's not working yet,
notices that and is specifically not giving her what she wants out of it.
Oh yeah.
Because he's a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, they're butting heads incredibly.
Yeah. And, like, Tio is just, like, super nervous about this. He just got the, like, he understands that he was given word that he could go home to visit, and he also knows that because he was given word, that's not going to be broken. But, like, what's this going to mean going forward?
Juniper, you also notice that the other person who is with Tio right now, they smell like home more than other people that you've dealt with more. I don't know if that means you're going to give them any attention.
I think noticing that caught them off guard and they're trying not to show that. Which they probably picked up on their insight checks as, like, there's also something that, like, came out of left field for Juniper that they're dealing with now.
Yeah. Juniper is also taken aback.
Lou for now is staying silent. She is observing and trying to understand how this unfolds further.
And Tio is just kind of lost at the moment. He's just like, I've got fares. I'm trying to stay professional. I've got my patron. I'm trying to stay in decent terms with. I haven't once like broken a pact to my patron. I have like he has gotten kind of sassy with him on occasion, but like it's almost always been when they were alone. He's never been like around anybody else, especially with customers. So he's like, it's truly that moment of I've been doing customer service for so long, and I'm always like, oh yeah, no, yeah, we'll work on that, we'll get that. And then my boss just came out and went, what the fuck? I'm just like,
What would you do in my position, Tio?
what do you mean?
What would you do in my position in this situation? What would you think is justified?
I mean, I don't presume to know your responsibilities or what
That's
you would
not
do.
what I'm asking, and you know that.
Like you all watch as Tio's like, because his ears are like on the side of his hat. His ears just kind of go down a bit, and he has been very, very careful since that day to watch what he says, especially around Faye and especially Juniper, because he's just like, words are a certain magic of themselves, and he's just at a loss of trying to figure out what to say in this moment.
Birdie, there's a moment of silence. Birdie's there. She's like, hey, sorry. Tio, who's this? Do we have a name? Or is this just some asshole that you know?
You will not speak to me with such disrespect in my own home.
Yeah, at the word asshole, his tail shoots straight up and poofs out, and he's like,
oh, okay. Hi, my name's, you can call me Birdie. This is my cab driver right now. I have places to go. This seems a little, forgive me.
How inconvenient for you.
It is, actually.
Do I look like I give a shit?
No, which is part of the problem, if I'm going to be honest.
Problem for you, maybe. You're in my home. You will speak to me with respect.
Birdie. Lou put a hand on her shoulder.
She's like, who is this? Does this
I understand that this situation seems very
Yeah, what is going on?
I am his patron. You are in no seat of authority here.
As much as I'm not particularly happy with it, Birdie, we should probably just listen for a while and step back.
Tio, did you bring them here specifically for backup? Did you bring them here because you wanted to fight? Is that what this is? I can't believe this.
Hold on.
Got to be kidding me.
I'm not the one that brought them here, Juniper.
Birdie, you get a text from Lucky. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Where are you? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
She she sends back the eye rolling emoji equivalent and just says thumb Fey Lord question marks. Think they're called Juniper question marks. Got a cab. Ugh. We'll be there ASAP. Lol, sorry.
As soon as you send the text that says Juniper in it, Lucky tries to call you.
She declines and is like, can't talk now. Promise we'll call ASAP.
Sends the text.
Juniper notices the call and says, I'm sorry, what is this?
Oh, that's my boss. Do you wanna talk?
You should speak to them. Speaking as someone's boss who has been ignored all day, I think you should go speak with them.
She kind of does the raise eyebrow like, okay, says, I'll be right back.
Oh no, you'll stay here.
I'm gonna step over there.
No, you're going to stay here. And you feel yourself like magically rooted where you are. Like you are unable to walk away physically.
Since like mechanically Birdie is a wild magic barbarian, there's probably like because she's getting like her temper is already like itty bitty. So there's probably like her own little like shimmery sort of sparkle magic associated with her rage. And so like her expression is well not calm but relatively stable. And so she just goes, "Sure thing," and will speakerphone call Lucky and just like holds a crystal and waits for him to respond, just like kind of still like glaring at Juniper, just like, who's this bitch who's causing so much trouble?
Lucky answers immediately and is like, I'm sorry you're with Juniper right now.
That's the name I got. Yeah, sorry. I was literally like
Did you call them an asshole? Do not provoke them. Do not get into a fight with them. This is a very do you know that they're a very important person in this city and they hold a lot of weight in this city and we have no need to cause a problem with this person. Do you understand? Juniper is a cold bitch and we don't deal with that.
Listen, Lucky. I'm so sorry this is going to take so long. I did not know who this was. I've never heard of this person. I assumed that I was supposed to get to you as soon as I could, you know?
Under
We're all
their
about
breath, they
cycles
go, a cold bitch?
Oh, you're
And
on
then-
speakerphone.
And then Lucky's like, there's dead silence on the other line, and it's like, hey Juniper, nice to finally talk to you in the not hey
Lucky, is it?
Yes, this is part of yes.
I'm sorry, would you like to repeat what you said about me?
I would
I
like
think
to
I
say
misheard you.
you are a huge donor to the Fae community. Everyone appreciates you very much. And
I'm the reason there is a Fae community.
that is true, Juniper. We're all very impressed by you and everything that you could do. Would you mind sending my little birdie on her way so she could get the things that I've got going on? That would be great. And if not, believe me, we can make a sizable donation to the Fan Diaspora donation fund. Happy to do that.
I don't want your money. I want your respect.
I
But
respect
it seems
you.
I don't have that.
Cold bitch was meant as a term of endearment, Juniper.
I've
True.
never heard anyone call someone a cold bitch as a term of endearment.
How about fear? Fear?
No. I think you're digging a deeper hole the more you speak. So I'm
I
going to step
apologize.
away and pretend I didn't hear anything this time.
Hey,
Thank you.
But
Lucky.
watch
Oh,
your
sorry.
mouth.
You're you're cutting. Oh, it's the badge. It hangs up.
Sorry.
Sorry
So
about
Tia,
that.
this is who you surround yourself with. These are the ideas that you're filling your head with.
At this point, like during this conversation, Tio had like turned away and like put his head in his hands and his little paws and just kind of just been breathing.
Lou,
on
make
that-
a history check for me.
Oh boy. Okay. That's 16 for 18.
You remember the day that the Elven Empire fell in your village. You remember your grandfather's expression. you remember so distinctly your grandfather not speaking for all of those years and all the things that were unsaid, and that the price of the wall, the seawall that had been built by the elves and the humans that kept your people in their village, when that came down, how your grandfather walked to the edge of that ocean, that now open ocean, and never looked back. Juniper seems older than your grandfather and never got to see a wall fall.
If I may, Juniper, correct?
Yes.
Well, I think I understand the situation a little better
How
than
could you understand any of this? What do you know?
I said
And you can tell
better.
he doesn't sound like angry at you, just he's tense.
Your particular situation? Probably not much. But better. My sister, Theodora. Perhaps you know her?
Would Juniper know her?
Juniper might have heard tell of a very minor Archfey who had essentially just ascended to Archfaydom because she gained followers, she gained patrons. Who kind of seems like they're from the Feywild, but like occasionally spends time on the material plane. But it's essentially like, oh, it's a new it's like a millennial Archfey, you know?
Yeah. I think I may have heard her name once or twice in passing, nothing of note.
I understand that she is not as powerful as you are, but she tells me stories of the connection to the land here and from my own history, you know. Our history. I understand that much. Birdie here has speaking out of turn. We did not come with Theo. It was just, I guess, a coincidence or turn of fate.
It was
And
Tio not following orders sooner. This wouldn't have happened if he had responded.
certainly, and your relationship to your... I don't even know what to call him, really. But to Theo, that is not of our concern. We are just bystanders. And I can see that Theo is very disturbed by the situation. I think you could have a conversation with him without us interfering.
We will have many conversations after this.
I'm sure. But please let me reassure you that we were never part of his plan or any plan at all. I just requested a cab.
Juniper turns on their heel and walks like toward the hallway of the courtyard towards the front door, and Tio knows that they want him to follow.
As if like pulled by an unseen force, Tio will just kind of and follow, head down.
And they
got
step
this,
just
Tio.
inside the front door and close it so that the others can't hear, and Juniper turns to him and just looks at him.
And he just looks back like just I don't, and it's very clear. He's just like I don't know what you want.
Have you nothing to say?
I feel like there's not a lot I can say, Juniper. You told me that you asked if these are the people that I consort with, and I brought them here for backup. Juniper, I didn't bring them here. You did. I was trying to tell you that I had people with me. If you would have given me a moment to drop them off, I could have come here by myself. You can't be doing that. You've got my name. You've got my fate. I'm the one you've made a deal with, not them.
I understand that.
Do
Probably
you?
better than you do.
Because you can summon me all you like. We had a deal, we had an agreement when I had other people in the cab. You don't take me in the cab away from
We
them.
had a deal that you communicate with me. You broke that first, so I felt nothing about bringing other people here. I don't give a shit. You ignored me. That's not okay.
I had no intention of ignoring you, Juniper.
Then what was it? What, Tio?
It was confusion. I don't know what to think. I don't know how to respond when you've gone from this threatening person to a concerned, almost friend. And that's such a whiplash. I don't know how to react to that. And then as I'm starting to come to terms with it and starting to smile when seeing your messages, it starts to become threatening again. And I'm just trying to figure out how to deal with that. And then you turn around to be nice again. And now you've summoned me and start threatening my clients.
I didn't threaten them. Let's be honest with ourselves here. They
moved someone
stepped
without
out of
their
your-
consent.
I actually kept her from moving. I didn't move her. I kept her exactly where she
You
was.
moved them in time and space into your courtyard. You summoned these people who didn't know not only who you are or where you are, you've taken them from where they want to go, the contract they made with me, to bring them to you. You've moved them without their permission, their consent. I understand you took my name without my consent because I didn't understand it. This is not between you and them, this is between you and me. Whenever I've got people in the cab, you've got to respect that. You want respect, but you've got to give respect to get respect. I don't know how to explain that to you without it sounding like I'm talking to a child, because when I first saw you, you were a child.
Juniper
That's what I
just,
thought you were.
stands there for a moment. And they kind of sit down on the floor with their legs crossed to be at eye level with Tio so they're not looming over him in their massive form. And they go, I acted out of turn. And for that, I apologize. But Tio, I'm terrified.
There's perk up a bit and just kind of his fur softens and just.
I'm so scared.
You have so
Tio.
much power. What are you terrified of?
Of losing it? Of losing you? Something could happen to you when you're out of my sight and out of my control, and I can't do anything about it. What am I going to do if something happens to you, Tio? What do you expect me to do?
He's definitely left Bess outside. So he just Tio also just kind of plops on the floor for a second. And
Juniper nervously kind of reaches out their hand like this for Tio's paw.
instead of Tio's paw, Tio will put his chin in Juniper's hand.
And Juniper will softly stroke his cheek.
And just go, Juniper, part of this deal is the power you've given me. He takes the little booklet, the little tome, the Pact of the Tome booklet from his pocket in his vest. I'm confident in the power that you've given me to where I don't think anything's going to happen to me while I'm not around you.
I know I should be, but I'm not.
If you're not confident in the power that you've given me,
Do you think I've ever been confident in my power?
if you're not confident in that, I ask something of you. And he just kind of, he looks scared. He looks terrified, but he just nuzzles his muzzle in a little farther into Juniper's hand and just goes, If you're not going to be confident in yourself and your own power, I ask that you try to be confident in me. Because as much as I fear you, I'm so confident in the power that you have and the power that you gave me.
And Juniper grabs his face in both hands gently and says, But you're mortal. You're so delicate. You're so fragile. Anything could happen to you. And if I'm not there, what am I going to do?
But you are there. And he pulls his head away and sets the book in his hand with Tio's hand on top of it. Just goes, even if I'm alone, even if you're not there with me, you're there with me. You take my name with you. You keep my name safe. That's what you've been telling me. But in that, you've been keeping me safe. I've had little dust-ups here in the city. There's been muggers. There's been little fights here and there. But every time, through the power that you've given me, I've been able to get out of it. You don't know about them because I've been able to solve them so quickly.
Why didn't you tell me? I could have helped.
Juniper,
I want
you
to
did help. Every time I've gotten out of it, it's been through the power in this. And he holds up that book.
I am just terrified that one day it won't be enough, that I won't be enough. You have to promise me that you'll be safe when you leave.
His tail softens and just kind of drifts back down. His little ears will kind of lay back a little, and he'll put a hand in Juniper's hand and just kind of grip Juniper's thumb and just go, I know my name, but I have kept that promise to keep not only the Fae of Faehaven safe, but to keep myself safe, because if I'm not here to do it, can't be your hand in that. And I'd like to think I've been pretty faithful in that.
You have.
I know I've not been answering your messages. I've been trying to figure out the right way, whether joking is appropriate or whether I can be not scared to say the wrong thing to you. But just other than that, have I ever given you a reason not to trust me?
Not once.
If you can't believe in yourself, I just ask you believe in me.
I will. When you go, I won't message you while you are with your family, because I know that I don't always say the right things, and I want you to enjoy your time with them without anxiety. And I understand that I tend to have that effect on people, so I will not contact you unless you reach out to me, but I request that you let me know when you get there and let me know when you leave and are back in the city.
Absolutely.
I want to know you're safe. And I apologize once more for summoning you here while you had clients.
Tio pauses for a moment and goes, I don't know if I have any authority to say this, but
Speak freely, please.
I accept your apology.
And a single tear just kind of rolls down Juniper's cheek.
You, Tio, are able to go back into the main courtyard where
Juniper stays
Your-
inside. They're not going back out there.
where your fares are waiting for you, and find that the gates to the courtyard have somehow opened without anyone doing so. Lou and Bertie, you both see Tio come back in with a sense of calmness that he did not have before. Get back into his cab. You're close by Fayhaven now. Tio?
He just sets his little hands on the steering mechanism and all right, everybody
get
in. Let's
one
get you where you
last
need to go.
Message from Juniper that's just the little text heart with like the little thing and the 3.
Tio says, let's get you where you need to go. You two both pile into this cab, having shared something with this cab driver that is a strange moment between a patron and their devotee, their pact haver. I think that's where we're gonna end our little stream for the day.
And I will say, just for the sake of future, on the moment where when Tio does eventually go visit his family, Juniper would wake up one morning to just good morning. Just a simple little message on his crystal. Good morning.
Amazing. Let's wrap it there.
Damn. I'm in my feelings for this, guys.
Guys, thank
I
you
love
so
this.
much for tuning in. Please, if you haven't already, donate to PCRF. And once again, we've got Ace Pendragon, Fish, Eligos, it's probably Ghost, Adrian. You can find all of us at What Happened in the Malachite Wastes, where we've linked to all of our socials, and so appreciate you guys.
Thank you guys so much for joining. This was awesome.